After 73, time no longer feels like a promise. It feels like a quiet question. Your body answers every day. It does not announce itself with pain or drama. They begin to notice how long it takes to get out of a chair, how the stairs seem steeper, how the day ends sooner than it once did. Along with these changes comes a question most people never say out loud: how much time is left? For many, this question is not driven by fear as much as by awareness. Some people find this unsettling, while others find it strangely clarifying. When time feels limited, even ordinary moments take on new weight. This is also the age when people start paying closer attention to their bodies, not in a medical way, but in a listening way. A subtle ache, a lingering fatigue, or a deep sense of calm can all be signals. They think about the people they have loved, the mistakes they have made, the things they still hope to do. Yet beneath this calm runs a soft current of curiosity. Not curiosity about the next job or the next promotion, but about how much longer the story will continue. Will the coming years be filled with independence or increasing dependence? The way it responds to stress, the way it heals, the way it settles into rest, all provide clues that often go unnoticed in younger years. Others feel a deep weariness. There is something quietly brave about asking, even silently, how long one might live. Small pleasures feel larger. Conversations become more meaningful. Regrets soften as attention shifts toward what still matters. It is about the moment when awareness deepens, when a person realizes that their body has been keeping a quiet record of their journey. And in that listening, many people find not fear, but a clearer, gentler understanding of the life still unfolding before them. Not the dramatic kind that follows a hospital stay or a major injury, but the small, everyday kind that happens after a long walk, a restless night, or an afternoon spent standing and talking. They tell a story about how well the body can still gather itself, restore its balance, and move forward into the next day. There was a time in life when fatigue was something you could ignore. You could stay up late, wake up early, and still feel mostly whole. Now, the body asks for something different. It wants to be heard. When recovery takes longer than it used to, it is not always a sign of decline, but it is a sign of changing rhythms. The body may be asking for longer pauses, deeper rest, or a slower pace. Those who honor that request often find that they can continue doing the things they love with greater ease. What makes recovery such a powerful sign is that it reflects the hidden systems working beneath the surface. Muscles, nerves, and energy reserves all play a role in how quickly a person feels like themselves again after being tired. When these systems are in balance, even a long day feels manageable. When they are strained, the smallest effort can feel overwhelming. This is why two people of the same age can have such different experiences of aging. One may feel refreshed after a nap, while the other feels drained for days. Subtle changes in recovery often arrive quietly. A person might notice that they need to sit down more often, or that it takes longer to feel steady after standing. They may sleep longer, but still wake up tired. These shifts do not happen all at once. They creep in slowly, almost politely, which makes them easy to dismiss. Yet they are some of the clearest signals the body offers about how well it is managing the years. There is also an emotional side to recovery. When the body struggles to bounce back, the spirit can feel weighed down. A person may begin to avoid activities they once enjoyed, not because they no longer care, but because they fear the exhaustion that follows. Over time, this can shrink a person's world, making days feel smaller and less colorful. On the other hand, when recovery is steady and reliable, confidence grows. People feel safer saying yes to life. This sign is not about comparing yourself to others. It is about noticing your own patterns. Perhaps you recover well from physical effort, but feel drained after emotional stress. Or maybe it is the opposite. These patterns are deeply personal, shaped by a lifetime of experiences, habits, and resilience. They offer a quiet forecast of what the future might feel like, not in years, but in quality. Understanding recovery is like learning the language of your own body. It does not shout. It whispers. When you begin to hear those whispers, you gain something precious: the ability to adjust, to protect your energy, and to move through your days with more care. The speed at which you recover from small strains is not just about how tired you are. It is about how much life your body still feels ready to hold. There is a kind of hunger that has nothing to do with food. It is the quiet pull that draws a person toward the day, the feeling that something out there is worth getting up for. After 73, this appetite for daily life becomes one of the clearest signals the body and mind offer together. It shows itself in small choices, whether to open the curtains in the morning, whether to answer the phone when it rings, whether to step outside or stay still. These moments are not dramatic, yet they reveal how connected a person still feels to the world around them. Curiosity is a form of energy. It does not shout, but it gently nudges. A question about a neighbor, a new recipe, a story in the newspaper, or a memory from long ago can all stir it. When this curiosity is alive, people tend to move, speak, and listen with more vitality. Their days feel layered, even when they are simple. When it fades, time can start to feel flat, as if one day blends quietly into the next without leaving much behind. Emotional engagement plays a powerful role here. The heart, in its own way, decides whether life still feels inviting. A person who feels seen, needed, or appreciated often carries a lighter step, even with physical limitations. On the other hand, someone who feels forgotten or disconnected may begin to withdraw, not because their body has failed, but because their spirit feels less anchored. This withdrawal can look like tiredness or apathy, but it is often a quiet longing for meaning. The appetite for daily life is not about being busy. It is about being interested. Some of the most vibrant seniors lead very quiet lives. They read, they reflect, they notice the changing light through their windows. What keeps them alive inside is their attention. They are still listening to the world, still responding in small ways. That attention nourishes them in a way no meal ever could. When this appetite begins to fade, it often happens slowly. A person may start turning down invitations, letting hobbies drift away, or spending more time in silence. The body and mind are closely linked, and when emotional energy declines, physical resilience often follows. A conversation, a memory, or a moment of beauty. I am still open to what comes next. A life filled with curiosity and emotional connection tends to feel richer and more spacious. One that has lost its sense of engagement can feel narrow, even if time stretches on. This sign asks a gentle question. Do you still feel pulled toward the world? Not with urgency, but with interest. The answer to that question often reveals more about the future than any number ever could. It becomes a kind of quiet conversation between the body. It repairs, it settles. These differences are not simply about habits or routines. They often reflect deeper layers of balance. It shows that the nervous system can slow down, that the heart and muscles can ease, and that the mind can drift without fear. When this happens, the body uses those hours to quietly restore what the day has worn away. Even if a person is not aware of it, tissues are repairing. Energy is being gathered. It might be lingering pain, unspoken worries, or simply a sense that the body is carrying too much. When sleep becomes shallow or broken, mornings can feel heavy. Stillness is as important as sleep itself. The moments just before drifting off, or the quiet pauses during the day, give the body a chance to breathe without effort. They allow the heart rate to slow, the breath to deepen, and the mind to release its grip on what has already passed. It carries forward the quality of its rest into the next day. This is why sleep after 73 is such a powerful sign. It quietly predicts how the coming days will feel, not just in energy. The face softens. The lines of worry ease. And for a few hours, the long story of a lifetime rests. Each night of genuine rest is a small act of renewal, a quiet promise that tomorrow is still worth preparing for. By listening to the patterns of sleep and stillness, one can hear the body's most intimate messages. And those rhythms, steady or strained, offer a gentle glimpse into the resilience that remains. Movement is one of the oldest languages the body knows. Long before words, it was how people explored the world, reached for what they needed, and kept themselves safe. After 73, that language becomes even more meaningful. The way a person walks across a room, rises from a chair, or steadies themselves on a step, quietly reveals how secure their body feels in the world. Balance is not just a physical skill. It is a form of trust between the mind and the body. When that trust is strong, movements feel natural and unforced. A person steps forward without hesitation, reaches for a cup without fear, and turns around without feeling unsteady. These simple actions require countless small systems to work together, and when they do, life flows more smoothly. When that trust begins to waver, it often shows up in the smallest ways. A hand may hover near a wall for support. Steps may become shorter. Standing up may take a moment longer, as if the body is gathering its courage. These changes are not always obvious to others, but the person feels them. They are gentle reminders that the body is adjusting to new limits. What makes this sign so powerful is that it looks forward as much as it looks inward. Stability in movement today often predicts independence tomorrow. A body that moves with confidence is more likely to keep engaging with the world. It goes for walks, visits friends, and continues the small adventures that give days their shape. A body that feels uncertain may begin to pull back, not out of laziness, but out of a quiet desire to avoid risk. Coordination also plays a role here. The ability to judge distance, to place a foot where it needs to go, to catch oneself if balance wavers, all reflect how well the brain and body are still communicating. When that communication is clear, even aging joints and muscles can work together with surprising grace. When it becomes strained, movements can feel awkward or hesitant, even without obvious weakness. There is a deep emotional layer to this as well. Feeling steady in one's movements creates a sense of dignity. It allows a person to move through their home and their community without constant fear of falling or being seen as fragile. That dignity supports the spirit, making it easier to remain socially connected and emotionally open. The body is always offering feedback. A stumble, a shaky step, or a sudden need to grab onto something is not just an accident. It is information. It does not mean that decline is inevitable, but it does mean that the body is asking to be noticed. Those who listen often find ways to move more carefully, more consciously, preserving both safety and confidence. In the quiet measure of longevity, steady movement is like a steady heartbeat. It does not draw attention to itself, but it keeps everything else possible. The way you move through space reflects how securely you feel in your own skin, and that sense of security shapes how freely you can continue to live. There comes a time in later life when the loudest struggles are no longer physical. They are quieter, deeper, and far more personal. After 73, many people discover that what weighs on them most is not pain or weakness, but the way they feel inside. A restless mind, a heart that cannot find peace, or a lingering sense of unease can shape the body's experience of aging just as much as any visible condition. Inner calm is not the absence of problems. It is the ability to sit with life as it is without being constantly pulled apart by fear, regret, or worry. When this calm is present, the body tends to relax into itself. Breathing becomes easier. Muscles soften. Sleep comes more gently. Even discomfort feels more manageable. The body senses when the mind is no longer fighting every moment, and it responds with a kind of quiet relief. Acceptance plays a powerful role here. Accepting the body as it is, with its limitations and its history, frees a person from endless struggle. This does not mean giving up. It means no longer being at war with oneself. When people stop judging every ache or every slow step, they often find that their energy is no longer being drained by resistance. That energy becomes available for living, for enjoying what remains rather than mourning what is changed. Emotional steadiness is another part of this sign. Life after 73 is filled with memories, some warm and some painful. Loss, in particular, leaves deep marks. Friends, partners, and even long-held roles may have slipped away. Those who carry this grief with gentleness rather than bitterness often find that their hearts stay more open. An open heart allows connection, and connection gives life a sense of continuity that the body quietly depends on. There is a simple truth that reveals itself again and again in later years. A mind that feels safe helps the body feel safe. When a person is constantly anxious or angry, the body remains in a state of tension, as if danger is always near. Over time, this tension wears down resilience. When the mind feels settled, the body is allowed to rest, to repair, and to keep going with less strain. This inner calm does not come from pretending everything is fine. It comes from honesty, from acknowledging fear without being ruled by it, from remembering joy without clinging to it, from understanding that life, even now, still has something to offer. People who cultivate this quiet understanding often carry a softness in their eyes and a steadiness in their voices. Their bodies seem to follow that lead. In the end, this final sign ties all the others together. Recovery, curiosity, sleep, and movement all depend, in some way, on the state of the inner world. When that world feels balanced, the body often reflects it, not with perfection, but with a gentle willingness to continue. Longevity is not only about how long the heart beats, it is about how peacefully it beats. And in that steady, quiet rhythm, many people find that the years ahead, however many there may be, feel more like a gift than a burden.